Good day, I'm Andrea Chisholm and this is your JIS News for Thursday, October 16. Government has ramped up its interventions to stop the Ebola threat from coming to fruition in Jamaica. While addressing parliamentarians at Jamaica House Tuesday, Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller revealed that immigration forms are being modified to capture data that could flag possible Ebola cases.
We have given instructions to up the surveillance at our airports, and that they pay special attention to our seaports as well. And we're adding to the immigration forms an addendum for them to specify where they visited and so on, and if they have symptoms, to be able to tell us.
At the same time, the Prime Minister said isolation rooms were being established at airports in addition to those at hospitals. Immigration personnel at both the Norman Manley and the Sangster International airports were trained last week and will continue to receive training along with other key stakeholders in the country.
All required emergency protocols and procedures will be rehearsed several times, over and over again, to reinforce skills and reduce of the risk of breaches. Simulation exercises are also being planned. Importantly, follow-up will be done to confirm understanding and ensure achievement of training objectives.
Mr. Simpson-Miller said equipment such as handheld laser temperature machines were also being acquired through emergency arrangements. In the meantime, Jamaicans are being encouraged to take personal responsibility and avoid traveling to Ebola-affected countries and regions and to truthfully declare their travel history when entering or leaving the island. The International Monetary Fund (IMF) and Jamaica's Ministry of Finance will hold a high-level economic conference in late October. The conference will be held from October 23 to 24 in Montego Bay under the theme Unlocking Growth in the Caribbean. Director of the IMF's Western Hemisphere Department, Alejandra Werner, made the announcement on the fund's website. He said the outlook for Caribbean economies continued to be challenging and the forum would be an opportunity to further ongoing dialogue with the region's policymakers on how to work towards stronger and inclusive growth in the Caribbean. The event will therefore address important issues such as energy provision, tax incentives, and financial sector resilience. Prime Minister Portia Simpson-Miller will open the conference, which will bring together prime ministers, finance ministers, central bank governors, and other high-ranking officials from Caribbean countries. There will also be senior officials from the IMF, the Caribbean Development Bank, the Inter-American Development Bank, and the World Bank, as well as private sector representatives. 10 local companies and entities are to benefit from a capacity-building initiative being implemented by the Jamaica Promotions Corporation, JAMPRO. JAMPRO Export Max 2, as it's called, is a 3-year project designed to improve the productivity and competitiveness of companies that are already exporting or are export-ready through capacity building and market penetration support. This initiative follows the successful completion of the 2-year pilot Export Max, which benefited 15 export-ready small and medium businesses. Industry Minister Anthony Hilton addressed the recent official launch of the program and said special emphasis would be placed on high-level business mentorship and coaching.
It is anticipated that at the end of the program, participants would have achieved 50% average growth in export sales and entered at least one new export market.
Participating companies are drawn from the agro-processing, manufacturing, creative industries, and education sectors. Minister of Transport, Works and Housing, Dr. Omar Davies, says government is totally committed to the continued modernization of the facilities serving Jamaica's air transport sector.
To that end, we have quietly revolutionized our approach to the management of the sector. We are systematically incorporating private investors in the sector to ensure that we meet all international standards whilst the state retains prime responsibility for the regulatory environment.
Dr. Davies was speaking at a recent regional air transportation conference. With expansion in the global industry anticipated to see annual flights doubling from 30 to 60 million by the year 2030, he said the need for a rapid upgrade of the industry was imminent. The Transport Minister added that regional stakeholders must embrace a multilateral interdependence approach in order to surmount challenges and reap possible gains. The Ministry of Education has announced that it will be establishing a national registry of institutions offering tertiary education. It's part of interim measures towards the introduction of a new regulatory regime for the tertiary sector and is to be administered by the Jamaica Tertiary Education Commission, JTEC. Education Minister Reverend Ronald Thwaites made the announcement in Parliament recently, adding that the policy would require all new and existing private tertiary level institutions to register with JTEC.
These interim measures will remain in place until the enactment of the JTEC Act, giving the entity the authority to ensure mandatory registration of all tertiary level institutions, among other functions.
And finally, Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan was met by a minister without portfolio in the office of the Prime Minister, Natalie Nita Headley, when he arrived at the Norman Manley International Airport Wednesday night. Minister Farrakhan is in the island to attend the 19th anniversary of the Million Man March on October 19. The Million Man March was first held in Washington, D.C. in 1995, drawing nearly 2 million African American men as part of a movement for atonement, reconciliation, and responsibility. Those are also the themes for the gathering in Jamaica, which represents the first time that the event is being held outside of the United States. It's the brainchild of Minister Farrakhan, who has strong regional ties, with his mother hailing from St. Kitts and his father from Jamaica.
I'm honored beyond words to be back in Jamaica again. I have brought with me my wife of 61 years, and I brought with me some of my children, my grandchildren, because I want them to be connected to that which their father and grandfather is connected to.
Minister Farrakhan will deliver the keynote address during the Million Man March at the National Arena. Before that, he has several engagements, including a courtesy call with Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller. And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Andrea Chisholm. Thank you for watching.